I need to. I don't have. Um, is this a net? Is this a normal screen? Oh yeah, check it out. Hello. Yo, what's up, everybody? I had to make sure I had like the name on there. I just grabbed a random stock footage. Look at that pizza. Oh my gore. How's everybody doing tonight? It's fucking snowing where I'm at. There's a lot of. It's a blizzard. Apparently, it's like one of the worst blizzards. So I didn't work. I just stayed home. But I waited because I saw that the Noid was out in Pizza Tower. So I wanted to play through that. You're able to stay bundled and safe. Yeah, thanks, Jared. Oh, I stayed home. They wanted me to do some work, and I was like, nope. I'm chilling. Guy eating standard size slice of Costco pizza. Yeah. A standard slice, that's right. Actually, that was pretty good. I grabbed like some Costco pizza. That was delicious. $10 pizzas. Always so good. But anyways, yeah. Oh, so I think I've played. Oh yeah, I have Kells with me. Kells is hanging out over here.
Hello.
Yep. I don't know if you can hear him, but he says hello. I'm sure you can hear him. But yeah, we're just chilling out. I am familiar with Pizza Tower quite a bit. I don't know if you guys have really like played through it, but I got all the P ranks in it, so yeah. We'll see. Luckily, I don't have to do that with the noise, so we're just gonna have a just a gosh darn good time tonight. Yeah, just a gosh darn good night tonight. I like Pizza Tower. Pizza Tower is a good game. I'm gonna load this sucker up. I like this big picture. I just literally changed it. They added it. Check this out. So I'm gonna go to a big screen over here. Oh hell yeah! Check this out. Oh, it might be behind me. Wait, where is it? Oh gosh, I don't have things like. Oh, it did it. It happened. But now where am I? Oh, I see what happened. Hold on. Ah, there we go. Let's get rid of the couch. We don't need a couch here. Oh. Ah. There you go. Bah. Don't need a couch for a Pizza Tower. Hell yeah. Bow, bow, bow. Let me see how the game... There we go. I'm gonna turn up just a little bit because the soundtrack in this game, it's pretty baller. Here we go, baby. There's my 101 completion percentage on this game. Oh, but check it out. Oh, what's this? It's this goddamn noise. Whoa. Okay. Let me know if it's too loud. Oh, wait. Oh. So the noise is basically like the Noid if you don't know your Domino Steed. Dasher grab. Okay. Oh yeah. So basically he's like the Noid. He's like one of the bosses in the game. Oh. Whoa. And Pizza Tower is kind of like that WarioWare type game. I'm pretty sure everybody's familiar with it right now, right? Oh, interesting. I'm gonna have to... All the controls are pretty much the same. Oh, I see. Let's see here. There we go. Aha! And there you go. Tutorial. Oh! Oh, they automatically unlock the lap 2 portals. Okay, this is gonna be fun. So yeah, we're just gonna jam. We're gonna run right through this game. Oh! Oh. Oh, oh, there we go. I'm not going for P rank on this. But we will fucking... Wow! Ah, we... But my old habits. Alright. Woo, this is a little weird. He plays a little different. Whoa. There we go. Woo! Whoopsies. Okay, that's weird. Okay, the noise is a little weird, alright. Like, what the fuck? Alright. Oh, come on. That's interesting. Does he have a double jump? What is this? There we go. Woo! Hell yeah. This is a game. Yeah, I was about to say, I love the faces.
It takes a pet, like no problem.
Oh, thank
right?
you for the pet.
Not afraid at all.
Thank you, Faye.
That's a great cat right there.
Oh. Okay, there we go. Oh, I see what he does. He doesn't like he doesn't like run up walls. He just grinds off of them. That's weird. There we go. Ah. Whee! There we go. Bam. Oh yeah, I love this game. I prefer an SRP. Acceptable. Yeah. The peace, babe.
We get to play as a sick rad skater boy.
I know, right? He's just like, there we go. So we're just moseying home. I wonder what the power-ups look like. That's gonna be funny. Laserman! Also, Faye, hello, hello. Jarda, I'm sorry I didn't see your message. I'm kind of like, in that pizza tower groove. Oh yeah, that's right. Forgot about that. Oh, sausage. Oh. Yeah, I'll be able to read stuff. I'm not. And the Pope gets rid of him, or like. Like these little pepperoni demons over here. Yeah, he's like so wacky to control. Check this out. Whee! Yeah, he's so like. Makes like a weird little oink noise. Luckily, I don't have to like P-rank this. Yeah, isn't this game like wacky? Oh, mess that up. I swear I got all the best ranks in this game before. Whoop. There we go. I forgot I could double jump. Actually, like, maybe that's just the noise get the double jump? Oh yeah, we gotta dance. Oh, I got a icy now. Okay. Wait, what? Okay. Oh, okay. I see how that is. I didn't realize that. I was like, wait, maybe I didn't read something? Like... You have to, like, do some like, weird stuff. Hell yeah. Yeah! Oh, there he is. Oh, well, alright. There we go. Whee! Oh, I got lost. I'm supposed to be a professional player here. Yeah. You got something about you don't like my hat? Oh, okay. I was about to say, I was like...
Of course, you're a true gamer.
Yeah. There we go. He's like, you gotta like hump the wall. It's like, it's the weirdest thing. What is this music? This is not the same as like what I was listening to earlier.
It's
Oh, it's it's noise, alright. Alright, we gotta go here. There we go. Hell yeah. He's just like evil. You see his like fucking eyes. I'll read chat in a second. I'm sorry. I'm like, I can't read it right now. It's hour time. Alright, let me catch up to everything going on here. I saw Jarda. I'm not ignoring you. I just... Yeah, mister, I was just about to go see one. Sweet. Well, I'm happy you're here, Jarda. In the ESFA, this game is pretty crazy. I'm happy to see everybody here hanging out. I actually go to Mental from Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I write poems recently that all ancient Greece and Greek gods, and I started using Socrates AI to solve problems. What? Socrates? Oh. Oh. Alright. Oh. We can fight the boss, but I'm not gonna fight the boss yet. There's 4 stages on each level, so we're gonna be... Should be... I like how he just posts his picture on everything. He's totally tubular here. Oh, fucker. I like the weird like Mario Paint baby sound effect. Oh! Oh! I see what's going on here. The noise doesn't throw the bomb, you just like... You just have to run into them. Wow, that's... Peppino normally just like... He grabs it, he can like throw it, but he's like, no. Oh yeah. I love his animations too. He's like, oh. Here we go. Woo! Yeah, he's like... He's screwy, man. Oh, that's right. This game is so crazy. Eh. There we go. Got the peanut butter. Hell yeah. I at least remember where all the all the secrets are and everything. What? What? There we go. Ha! Hell yeah. There's not much to say. We're just running right through it.
Now story.
Alright. Fresh Thanksgiving. Alright, here we go. Oh yeah. Blood Sauce Dungeon. This one was the hardest one, I think, to P rank for this mission. Just because it's like... Yeah. It's got these fucking, like weird birdfish? I don't know what they are. They're like... Mm-hmm. Yeah. Gotta get the sausage. Oh, that's all the health. Butt burning. Oh. Mm-hmm. There we go. Yeah, I was tripping. Butt burning, good. Hot sauce. I don't know. I was about to say Chipotle. It was more like. Just my vibes. Just my vibes. Oh, you can't hear. Oh, I forgot to turn that off. I don't have.
Oh, the 3D.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Sorry for everyone who's tried to do that. I didn't really think about that. Sorry.
Report to the ship as soon as possible. Bang.
Okay. All right. Thank you. He's just a wacky character to play as. He's like super. I don't know how to describe it. He's kind of like a little slippery. And he doesn't climb up walls like Pino does. Instead, he does like you have to kind of be stupid with, I guess. You gotta be stupid. So you do it. Yeah. It's like this prime YouTube material right here. I'm not even talking to people who are like, I just want to watch the place annoyed. I mean the noise. I'm a skater. Yeah, I'm a skater boy. I'm gonna get some. I'm gonna eat some. See you later, boys. I'm gonna eat some things. There we go. Not supposed to go this way, but. Screw the rules. I'm annoyed. I am annoyed. With my mom said. Actually, I think he hates pizza. I'm strong. I don't know why we're inspecting gadgets. Hell yeah. I'm gonna be getting a lot of A's. Because you can't get anything above an A if you don't do like the second run.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. I only took 5 damage, not bad. Probably because I was burning my butt. Alright. Yeah, I think we cleared out this stage. Now it's time for us to fight this. Yeah. I thought he was an apple, but I guess he's a pepper. Ooh. Pepper man. Hell yeah.
Ronaldinho success!
Wow. No. You wasted the one time you get a chance to that, and you just blew it right there. That's funny. Wait, I could drop bombs? What the fuck? When could I do that? What the fuck? I could just throw bombs. People always had it like a problem with Pepperman here. Oh fuck, I lost track of where I'm at. Doesn't matter, I'm throwing bombs everywhere. Yeah, yeah. I just wanted to put like one. Woo! He has like different controls for boss fights, it's weird. Yeah, forgot I could do that too. Alright, get out of here. After me. He's an artist. Oh, good. Oh, I forgot he does that. There we go. Oh man. Oh, Faye, I saw you love Alf. Yeah, Alf is great. Whoa! Die! Jesus. Chill out, Noid. It's because I did so bad. Your rank is just about like how much health you have at the end. Oh, I got a key to go to the next level. Oh, hey, I forgot about that. There's like a secret over here. These guys here. Yep. Alright. go. Section 2. Oh. Just carries him up with that. That's great. There we go. Oh. What? Okay. Be here. It's like, oh hey, look. It's like, oh, there we go. I see. But yeah, these guys give you hot wings. Oh, win. Oh, I can't really control this. Apparently I need to be a, what is it called? Like, to have a priest come by and like, forgive me for hot sauce. Yeah, my hot sauce sin. In my child, just without burn my esophagus. Oh yeah. Whoops, I killed him. Give me the hot sauce. Oh. Give you the hot sauce, baby. Forgot, if you take damage, then it like cancels out. Upgrade. He's like, oh yeah. Oh yeah, now we go into UFO shit. Also, you don't have to worry about like dying in this game because you don't have like any health. You just kind of get less of a score. Whoa. Just gonna kill him for no reason. Screwed that up. Oh. Wrong way. Give me hot sauce. Give me chicken, not hot sauce. Give me chicken. Oh, that's right. There we go. Hell yeah, we did it again. Yeah. And we got the secret ingredient. Oh yeah, that face. It's like hell yeah. We got beans. We got all this stuff. Surfing on dead people. Zoid goes. Oh. Oh. Excuse me. He's got a dash. Interesting. Yeah, Peppino didn't have that. Peppino just moved faster. Get that sausage. He just looks so goofy. He's like, blah. Yeah, he's like, hey guys, on the noise. Pizza bad. People dumb. I was sitting there, I was like, oh, is he gonna show up? Yes, he is. What's that? the special ingredient was. Oh no! I got an idea. I'm gonna cheat and look at it. I used to remember where it was, and I'm like, wait, where did it go? Let's see here. So we're gonna do the second lap, just so I can do that. Can't believe I forgot. Wow. I'm not gonna remember them all. Look away. Look away, don't look at me. Does it look away? No, I'm just kidding. Oh, I see. There it is. I was about to say, I was like, how can I not remember what it is? It's ice cream! Oh no! Oh. That. Alright. We got this. I know where it is now, so. I don't really need to get through all the stages, but I might as well. Yeah. Heck yeah. I'm glad. It's a pretty wacky game to play. I think that's why I enjoy this. Like, it doesn't matter if I don't talk much. I like him as a ghost. He's funny. He's just like, he's like, I'm just a happy little ghost. The noise of every gamer said spirit animal. There we go. Yeah. Surfing the dead. I just realized I'm like, wait, I'm not fully charged. And when there we go. Hehehe. This thing not working. Oh yeah, yeah. Sorry, I was like, go in there and disable it.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like hell yeah. I didn't realize you can knock out the pepper guy. He's just hanging out there. Ah, yeah, and this is where Mort the Chicken, everyone's favorite PS1 game. I like the little potato guys who just hanging out. They're like, yeah, More the chicken! He's just holding him by the neck. Oh, he just throws him too. What the fuck? There's a secret down here too. If I can get to it. Damn. Oh. That is so wacky. He just... okay. There we go. There's the cube! The Mort cube! Yeah. It's actually an achievement too. Word shit chicken. And I like how you have to have the priest come by and be like, oh yeah, I absolve you of your Mort. Yeah, if I miss any of those like stages, it's not a big deal. They give you there's like actually shortcuts or not shortcuts, save points, checkpoints or whatever. I don't remember there being Oh. Alright. So many Noid stickers. I say Noid, I need to stop saying Noid. One's copyright. No! Okay. I can't get the collectible if I miss that. Lame. Probably the like real part of the game you can miss. I like how casual he looks at it too. He's like, oh yeah, I'm just riding on this thing. Meanwhile, Peppino, when he's riding this thing, he looks like terrified.
He just doesn't. He just can't. Skater boy.
Yeah, I was about to say that's. Yeah. He's got the stage skater boy. Oh shit. Grab this. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. I'm getting all kinds of loves for my failures here. Like, how do you want to teach a person how to be better? Show them love when they, even if they fail. Actually, that is a pretty good advice. Cool. You dirty rats. You doing There we go. Fuck that horse. Oh. Damn. Yeah, one of them at least. Yeah. Sounds ready. It killed the horse. Didn't know you could do that. They just like make it so it's like, no, fuck that horse. Hell yeah. Actually, I forgot where the treasure was. I'm like, wait, where was the treasure on the stage? Oh my god, I'm embarrassing myself here. Nobody ignore this. We're just looking at it. Not a big deal. Fine. Okay, here we go. Oh, I see where it is. There we go. Haha, I knew it all along. It was right here. I got the donut. I like how not a lot has really changed from the base game. It's just kind of like, this is the way he plays. Yeah! I wonder if the Noid's gonna have a gun for this boss fight. Oh, it's the Vigilante. Outlaws beware. But I'm the noise, so I don't give a shit. Oh. Oh, okay. The noise can only have 2 outcomes. Oh! Calling a tactical cow strike on me? Bad grade. Oh! Oh! That's how he dies. He gets deflated. I think of Vigilante, this guy was originally supposed to be a playable character, so we'll see. kind of silly. Just hit him with bombs. You're like, alright, come on. Here we go. Oh. Oh. What?
Turn to draw.
I didn't even have to do anything. He just was like, he just did it anyways. He's like, fuck that. I'm like, fuck Honor. I prefer this or okay. Got the key. Now we go to the next level. Next sections. Keep on going. Bing bong. I feel like the guys carry him up with the rope. It's like, oh. Alright, here we go. Cruise Grove! Oh, this song. Oh, I forgot. This level has one of the banger of a song. Of course, this is like. I don't even know if you guys can really hear the music. Bad if you're not. Oh shit, he just keeps going? That's different. I was starting to mess up with the barrel. I was like, usually Peppino does this thing where he like, he bounced off the wall. Not the noise, he just keeps rolling. Keeps on going. Hell yeah.
takes a pen, like no problem. Right?
Oh,
Not
good
afraid
cat,
at all.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's a great cat right there.
Is it right? It's a great cat. Oh. I gotta fix my headset. My headset's falling off. There we go. There we go. Hell yeah. No orange juice. I think that's orange juice. Looked like there was shrimp on it, so it might. There we go. Bam! Yes.
Report to the ship as soon as possible. Bang, okay?
Bang, okay. Well, bang, okay. Whoa. Oh. Oh, it's everyone's favorite sage. Everybody wants to be a superstar. Oh yeah, the art of this game is awesome. Very, very silly. Very simple too. That's where that thing is. He's just a noise. He's like, screw it, I don't care about this other guy. Wait, what? Okay, that was weird. Okay. Alright, no worries. Alright. Oh, I see now. Pizza wizards. Oh, I see now. I get it now. It all makes sense. Did he just wave at me? Oh, yeah. He's just like, oh, hey, you look like me. Yeah. That's funny. Because they shoot arrows and you get like, there's an achievement for deflecting it at them. He just destroys their house. The noise is just a menace. Is it? Oh, there's a mushroom smoking a joint. What the fuck? Alright, I never noticed that before. I love that. He's just like, hey, yeah. Hello, buddy. Right, pizza spider. There he is. There's our boy. Figured out how to do that. They all want to be your friend, even though you killed them. Oh, I thought there was something there. My bad. Back to that guy. I think it's what? Minced pie? Mm. Yeah. Ooh, caught some necklace. Nice. Rats. Oh, I forgot about the golf stage. Yeah. Aliens. Whoa, what? Use the rocket. Bounces right off it. It bounces off the walls. I wonder what they're gonna do when he like sees the aliens or whatever. Rock the ship. I mean, at least you can cancel out of it. Yeah, here's where it's like you get in the ship and it's usually like, "Ah!" Oh yeah, he's still like, what the fuck? It's like, whoa. Found it. He's in popcorn. Oh, yeah. Mini golf.
Well, Play-Doh.
Play-Doh. Oh, we just talked about that earlier. Bring over. Like the boxing though. No! Wrong way. Respawn. Yes. Okay. What? Okay, really? Oh, greasy shit. Oh, okay. I'm getting it. Just gave me Primo Burger. Here, here's some sniffing. My brain.
Now starting.
That was so great. People will look at the people will watch a replay of this. And they're like, what's going on? Is that part of the Noid gameplay?
He activated the jelly cube.
Yeah. The jelly. Thing all that thing. I saw like poutine and I almost said, look, it's poutine. Well, it's not the same thing. Alright, I think we got everything on this floor now. Okay, fight. Oh, well, I guess we have to fight, like, the Noid? This is usually his... Oh. Oh, what's this? It's like a different Void, or Noid. What's it? The Doys.
The Doys.
Oh, the Toys. Whoa, what the fuck? Oh, he just drops. He's just an idiot. I mean... I see what's up here. I don't remember how to fight the Nobles. Wait. Here we go. Plus, he tries to fake you out. Oh. Huh. Wait, what just happened? He gets hit on, he's like, oh, yo, bitch, get in here. Good job, Noise. Alright. Oh, I got an S, huh? You look. Oh! I like that face. Oh! It's like, holy shit. Good job, you only took 2 damage. Yeah. Ooh, the slum. Oh, I could kill that guy before he had to get punched by him. Noise is like, I just kill everybody. Oh, this is awesome. Noise, big win. I don't know. Let's see what the taxi does. He's like, you're gonna take me where the fuck I wanna go. The poor pig. He's like, like, come on. He's like, you're. He's like, no, you're in the wrong part of town. No, he wants to speak on it. It caught me off. I know, I was like sitting there. And just like, my favorite is the cops, because they like, with Peppino, they like handcuff him, but like, with the Noid, they get like caught by him. Oh! Okay. Watty. I wonder what happens when you get the end when it's like turns out it's actually a cop. Spoiler alert, does it? I hear those. Alright, let's see here. He's like, hey, take me here. Whee! Yeah, this one's the please. He's just like, oh, I'm sorry. The Noid's driving the Noid. I'm like... This is wacky. Look at all these people like... Oops. Okay. It's a good thing I got a new outfit color, apparently. It's not what I wanted. There we go. Noise is just like... He's like, oh, look at it out there. There we go. What was that? Whoa, that's weird. Whoa! Oh wow. I was like, what are you doing? You just do this, what? Are you kidding me? Never asked him when we were age me. A man is high or noise. What happened to the taxi driver right after March 13, 2024? Seymour? Oh, hey, Brick was right there. I love this lady's just watching noise on TV. She's like, break the pillar and she's like, oh shit! What? Yeah, this is the stage that a lot of people miss the ingredient, or the secret ingredient, because it's actually like underneath the jail cell. Here. Back to that noise. Go down here. There we go. And it's a jelly-filled donut. You get that? For all those old classic Pokemon animated series fans. I got some nice, delicious jelly donuts, guys. It's rock. Good morning for everybody. Yeah. We're doing it. I don't think we're gonna make it under 2 hours, but we'll see. I'm getting pretty close. Oh, this stage. I hated this stage when I was like, I mean, it's not like horrible, it's just like, wait, what? Wait, did he just like drink a bunch of whiskey? What the fuck? I know, did you see that? He was just like, oh, it's cold in here. Oh, I'm trying to drink it, like... Yeah, exactly. I was like, damn, okay, noise. Remind people that it's not... Remind people it's not a kid's game. Oh. He just wants to do things sometimes. Noise doesn't want to listen to me. me. He doesn't care. She wants to do things. She doesn't care about me. He's the noise. He's just. I wonder what we do at the very end of the stage. Oh. Snowman. Or not, I brought my trusty flask of Jameson with me. Seymour, I made it despite you. Oh, I didn't even have to do shit there. There we go. What are you saying over there? Oh, jelly-filled donuts. We got the jelly-filled Jameson. Jameson-filled donuts. Wait. Oh shit, he already has like. I get it now. No, like, I get what happens. So at the end of this level, then normally with Peppino, you get like this, it's like a pepper or hot sauce or something. But and it's like you kind of become like invincible. But Noise can just do that. He's just like wee. Yeah, like. Basically, there's like a thing under the level. I'm just like, because that's so funny. I'm like, wait a second, we can just do this. What the fuck? Love the team. Oh, okay, it's down here. Bonus stage. Normally, you have to kind of do this little thing, but since the Noise is cool and he doesn't really give a fuck. Pizza cat. I mean, he's not like invincible, but he basically just gets like some of the perks from the. Yeah, because normally you'd go over here, you'd find the safe choice, and then it makes him. Oh! Oh, he's got fire that just like tracks people too. crazy. It's also like birds, or they like, it's like a 11 task you can do where you melt the ice or something like that. Okay. Noise rendering this level pretty much true. I was about to say, I was like, whoa, damn. Damn. Here. Yay. It's an ice cream sandwich, I think? Very fitting. Yeah, there we go. I love my jelly-filled ice cream sandwiches. I like my women like I like my jelly-filled ice cream sandwiches. Exactly. Alright, let's see here. She's paying her into college right now. Oh, you know what? You were asking me about the Doid. Oh. There we go. Now we've got Doid outfit on. I wonder if they like have the same thing for this. It says the wannabe Ninja Turtles in it. Oh, he's like a little cheese man. He's like a little cheese rat. That's cute. He has like better momentum than that Dino does. like the monkeys that are that reference to Joel. The little Swedish monkeys. And the music, the way that they did the music in the stage is basically similar to how they do like some previous Ninja Turtles games. So it has like that sort of that Ninja Turtles like soundbite. Ninja Turtle pizzas. Like, all things that, like, Peppino would have to do, he just doesn't give a shit. He's just like, oh, okay. That's cool, I guess. Oh yeah! Fudge Pop! Yeah, found drowned in the sewers. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, break up. Right. There's the other one stage. It's pretty funny how just getting used to playing as him. Alright. Hey Zopie. Yo yo yo, should go to the doys again. Why should I go to do something with the doys? Also, welcome in, Zombie. The doys. Yeah, that was the boss fight that was like taking place at the noise. Alright. I think I'll do it after this stage right here. Oh. Oh, I like that pixelated Noid. Oh, I'm wondering something. Are they gonna have robot Pepinos, or are they gonna be Noid Pepinos? Or Noid Pepinos? Robo Pepinos. Robo. Fuck. Oh yeah. Woo. I gotta check it out. Oh yeah, just Robo Peppino. I was say the robe of the combo wizard is horrible on your first combo by the okay. You see. I'll have to check it out. like, nope. Okay. I'm about to say, I'm like, here's the bonus stage here. There we go. What? He's small. What? Excuse me? Is this like a... This has to be a Sonic reference, where they have like the smaller version of him. Glass, what's up? It's good to see you. Welcome into the whatever's going on here in this game. Welcome to the mini Noid. Whee! Woo. I'm small again. Fuck you guys. He's just smaller with a jetpack. Oh, crap. Oh. Oh, that's right. Over here? Oh, I remember why. Okay. You can only really go that way when you, can't think right. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, there's nothing over here. I like the little, I just realized the monitor has a little tiny... It's a chili dog! There we go. I like that Yoshi emote. That's awesome. It's like, oh. Oh, oh, oh.
You're gay.
You're gay. Nice.
We
Oh
have
god, here we go. Alright, you said, oh wait, how do we...
Report to the ship as soon as possible. Bang, okay?
We'll bang, okay? Thank you.
Arby's. We have Arby's. We have Arby's. We have
Alright,
Arby's.
so we gotta fight this guy again? getting all the redeems in. Oh god, he's dead! What the fuck? Oh. He's just fucking dead. That's awesome. Thank you for having me look at that. Whoa, what the fuck? That's awesome. That is awesome. I love that. It's just like, nope, he's dead. Nice little things brought in. Or like nice little Easter eggs. Now that we're here. Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, it wasn't right there. Oh! Gotta fight the fake Peppino now. Or Peppino? Question mark? Oh. Oh, I'm done. This fight's relatively easy too. Yeah, very cool. Although when you haven't done it in a while, your brain's like, wait, how do I do this? And yes, he's doing this Sonic Adventures dance, the pose, right? Is that what that was? Oh. Oh. There we go. Oh, God. What? Are you serious? Wow. He's like, no, get out of here. Wow. He did. He gave no shits. He was just like, yo, get the fuck out of here. Crap. I could have done that like way better. I knew that boss fight like the back of my hand. See, where is it? Ah, there it is. Oh, Snotty's already dead. They don't give a shit anymore. Oh. It's war. Oh. Is he shooting wieners? Ah! I'm gonna run out of time doing this, dude. Yeah. Oh. Too long on that one. I mean, this is one of the hardest stages anyway, so technically.
Arby's, we have, ye have.
Tin Man. There we go. And food rations. There we go. I like how the secrets in war aren't hidden, but are just fuck you time lost. Actually, I found that what makes it easier is if you actually go for the bonus levels on the second time around. It gives you a little bit more time. What? I know what you mean there, Bean. Oops, not this. There we go. Ah! Oh! Here we go. I was gonna say, does Annoy even give a shit about these guys? Oh! Keep her behind! Oh, it's his dead body, okay. Oh, there is? I'll have to check it out. I'm glad you guys are saying something too, because that's like... see. It was like a body. He's dead. Oh wow. Ba ba ba. Hey, Silky! Or Princess. Do you prefer Princess or Silky? I've always been just saying Silky. My way.
It takes a pad, like no
Oh,
problem.
thank you for the head pad.
Right?
Ah.
Not afraid at all. That's a great cat right there.
I was lurking in your stream earlier. And I was like, oh, oh. Whee! Meowdy. What you been up to? Anything new? Either is fine. Alright. Sounds good.
Report to the ship as soon as possible. Bang, okay?
Oh, bang, okay. There we go. Oh, I forgot about this guy. I remember when they had to change it, there was a metal block that was right there. Oh! Ah. Oh, he's dead. Aha!
Snow Job has a two-handed battle grip.
Oh. Snow job. Thank you for the snow job. Actually, I should get caught to see if there's. Oh, okay. Posture check. Alright, thank you. Whoa.
Arby's. We have ye. Arby's. We have ye.
Oh, hydrate? Oh, okay. Alright, I'll check it out in a second here. I'm like, hey. Once I catch up with all this stuff. They don't want me to get the yodel thing. There we go. We'll hydrate after this one here. It's like how I got like shooting. It's like a minigun, but it's got. It's an enemy stand. It's an enemy stand. There we go. Gotta get that ingredient. It's literally just pizza. Pizza time with legends. There we go. You cannot shoot pizza face. Oh, nice. It's a pizza face. I tried on my first attempt. I'm wearing a little hat today. Yeah. Paninian, welcome in. And short-sighted though. What does it say? Oh, it says I love pissing. That's really all there is to say about that. Alright, here we go. Pizza scare! God and Jesus on my side. An anime. And the noise. I mean the noise. Oh wait, I was supposed to hydrate. I was like, I'm getting too into the game. Hold on. Ah, there we go. No. Yeah, literally turning into jerky. Eh. Whee! Oh. Oh. Pizza wizard. I forgot about this. Yeah. No! I was cheated. There we go. Aha! Oh. Dehydrate? Why not grab a Snickers? Don't ask questions, just do it.
Report to the ship as soon as possible. Obeying, okay?
Okay. Why do the vampires have like that really human looking face? Oh no, I can't go that way. Never mind. Woohoo! Actually, I do need to go that way. Okay, gotta go. Oh yeah. Oh, that's right. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. You gotta make him do that. Oh wait, what am I doing? Wait, I heard the noise 10 times. Oh no. Let's go this way. Oh. Got it. Uh-oh. I'm gonna hurry up. Oh no! Oh no, this is not good. There we go. Get out of here, piece of space. Can't do the jerky so high. I'm trying to jerk you out all kinds of jerky right now. Yay, thank you for the claps. Alright. So we got that one. There's like one more left. I believe. Okay. Let's see here. I didn't get any of the sequences. Okay. Oh, did I get all of them? Am I done? We move on to the next area? Oh, you good, Bunny Young? Do what you gotta do. Oh yeah, here we go. Pizza face. Oh. Noise pizza. I like that. There's a no. Oh, what? I keep forgetting Noid doesn't grab people, so I gotta like... Should I turn the music up a little bit? There we go. I was like, oh! Who's this Joker? Oh, make that pizza face. This is dead. What? Oh, what the fuck? Get up here, Pepperman. Oh! And he's just dead. And we move on. Get out of here, bitch! Oh, dude. Oh! Dead. Here. Dance on this fool. Alright. Oh. Whoops. Bound bumps. Fresh. Oh my god. Music. That sound like Torb made it. Riding on the sausage again. Ooh. Hey, oh, Bobby. Yeah, Primo Burger. Oh, he's like, fuck Pepperman. Man, I missed it. Oh, sorry, Sonku. Yeah. We did it! Yay! Oh, and we got all the ingredients. Fuck, he turns into a Noid, or there we go, yay! Oh, they're all, oh my god. Fuck yeah.
I am the cheese. I am the best character on the show.
Yeah, I love it. Look at all these. Spooky Rick. I guess these are the people that did like the art. Or like the little noise stickers. Oh, I like that one. Ugh. That's perfect for this. I know, right? I am the cheese. I am the best character on the show. Oh man. That was great. I get full playthrough of the noise. And they didn't add any achievements for him either. They were just like, oh, nope. If you want to, go ahead and play as him. Ah, man. It was in like 3 hours. I did that in like... Oh! Let's see if I can skip this here. Oh, there he is. He's like, bye, everybody. It's like, where's Peppino at? Nobody cares. Oh, I see the renegade. He's like back there by the exit. Like, oh. Pizza Tower, the movie. What's our review? What are we gonna get? 85. Could have been better. Okay, fine. But I got the true ending though. Oh, I did it in 3 hours. Oh man. I took too long. Gotta go again. Alright everybody, we're doing it all over again. No, I'm just kidding. Not the best. I like how it's... But I still have the John approved, so basically the only way I can improve the stats is if I get the rest of those thingies. So yeah, there we go. Woohoo! Beats! Well, I said what I was going to do, and then I did it, so... Should we find an success? Should we find an unexpected person to raid? Just go back to the final boss balcony. Oh, you want me to do that? Alright, let's do it. I trust you guys. Everybody's been teaching me that there's more things to look at. So before we raid out, let's go. I like how everyone's just like, no, go back. I go again. Or you mean I have to go fight the boss again? What's up here? It's been so long since I played this, I'm just like... It's serious. Let's see here. Let's go. Oh yeah, you gotta do this. Do I have to like go all the way back here again? Let's check it out. I swear to God, if he's If he's just up here dead, then that's gonna be funny. You want me to do it? Well, you're just gonna make me do it again, aren't you? Okay, fine. I oversaw? Alright. Down here? Wait, what?
Whoa.
So this is where Peppino is? This is where you've been, Peppino? Wait, there's a female Peppino there, and she's got a mustache. It's an enemy stand! It's an enemy stand! Man, they really threw a bunch of stuff. He has a baby, too. Wait, what? Swap mode unlocked? What? The hell's... I don't get it. How do we do, like, swap mode? Oh, okay. Let's check this out. Wait, what? Wait, what is... Wait, is this a multiplayer thing? Like, wait, one player? Oh my god. We're both of them at the same time! It's also co-op. Oh, that's awesome!
Nice.
Taunt to swap. Oh. Back that up. Annoyed. Oh, there we go. He's like, oh. And I should somehow control the noise from chat. Oh my god. That would be... Yeah, but the thing is, you'd have to be consistent about it, though. Oh, that's awesome. Dude, thank you for showing Matt. Kukilina. Thank you for showing me that. I think that's awesome. That sounds like that's going to end up being its own thing. I'm going to try to set something up for that. But should we find, since I'm already, like, kinda tired, should we find somebody real quick? Who is online that we're going to drop in? Ooh, maybe we can give them, like, some... You know, there's not a whole lot. But thank you everybody that's been showing me all this cool stuff, the Easter eggs of the game. I would have not found that out right away. Ooh, nice, got a Ditto. Sweet, now you can breed them. There's not really anybody... There's not too many people online. I guess... That Shadow Wolf is... a fellow I haven't raided into for a while. We can go check them out. Wow. Looks like they're playing Dead by Daylight. They're pretty fun. They're really good at Dead by Daylight. So maybe we should go check them out. How does that sound, huh? Unless you had somebody you know. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, let's do it. Alright. Yeah, let's hit them up. Anyways, thank you for everybody hanging out with me today. We'll see what else we end up doing with this game later. But for now, I hope everyone has a great night. And I don't have any, like, raid messages, so we're just gonna come in there and be like, yo, Pizza Tower, bitch. I don't know. That's unprofessional. We'll be just like pizza butt. Yeah, there you go. Pizza butt, that's the thing. Just say it.